There's a lot of noise when it comes to content creation advice for YouTubers. And one of the most hotly debated topic is whether or not you should script your video. I've spent over $10,000 on learning how to do YouTube properly, and I've also been posting mostly vlogs for the last year and a half on YouTube. And I'm here to tell you that you should not worry about scripting. Here's my little case study, okay? I had a video that recently went kind of semi-viral, and I think it's sitting at 15,000 views. When I first posted that video, I had like 300 subscribers, and right now I have a little over 1,000, which is crazy. That one video kind of did all of that. And the thing about that video is it wasn't scripted. Of course, it was planned, right? Like I planned the title and thumbnail and the topic that I wanted to talk about, but what I said in that video was exactly what I would have told my friend or my family if they came to me and asked me the same question, like, hey, I want to try and start vlogging. What do I need to do? And those were exactly the things that I would have told them. That's the same kind of like tone that I would have had when speaking to my family and friends. And here's why I think the whole advice on scripting is a little skewed. As an actual beginner starting content creation, I felt like a lot of the gurus talking about like how to grow your YouTube channel, how to post these videos, like they seem to forget the fact that a lot of people watching those content are like actual beginners. Oh yeah, you have to look at YouTube Studio and you have to look at the impression rate, the click-through rate, and like look at the data and adjust, do this, do that, yada, 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 without realizing that when you first start, maybe like the first 10 or even 20 videos, your YouTube Studio's gonna look like this. For me, whenever I got like 10 views, my graph would just shoot up because I barely got 10 views. I understand what they're trying to do because at the point that I am right now with my channel, there's actually stuff to look at when I open up my YouTube Studio app and I'm just like, wow, damn, like this graph is going up and going down. The retention is really good on this video, but not so much in this video. Once they click on the video, they watch till the end, but nobody's clicking on the video. So like those things, like you can actually start to pick up once you're kind of like used to it, you got your foot in the door and whatever. And especially if you already have like millions of followers, chances are you probably already figured out your style, what works well for you, the winning format for your own channel. But I feel like more often than not, the biggest obstacle for brand new content creators is the hurdle of getting started. And I feel like script writing just adds to that hurdle because if you're talking to someone who's just starting out and you're just like, you have to do this, plan out your video, you have to research your niche, and you have to like think about titles, you have to like switch out thumbnails every 2 days, and you also have to script out every single word you say. And the thing about those videos that like advocate for script writing, they're always just like, oh yeah, like I write out every single word, even the ums and ahs, and like, you know, just basically write based on your natural speech pattern, and you have to practice sounding natural while reading your script. And the thing is that I feel like in the beginning, that is such a useless thing to learn and spend your time on. Trying to sound natural while reading something, like that should be the least of your concern when you're first starting out. Your biggest priority at that point should be to press that record button, to kind of like present myself as a case study. My entire first, I don't know, 20, 30 videos were vlogs that I just kind of like filmed whenever I felt like filming, or like just trying to get myself used to talking with the camera around. The last time I filmed, and since the last time I got in front of the camera, and they did terribly. But the thing is, it made me feel so much more confident and act and feel more natural talking to a camera. I'm talking to you without a script, talking to you as if you're sitting right in front of me right now, and that is what you need. You know, like how many times you like watch a YouTuber and you can tell they're reading off the script. There's nothing wrong with it, right? Like I tried doing that, and this is why I'm so adamantly against the advice to script out every little word, because every time, and maybe this could be like the lack of my own skill of like sounding natural while reading off the script, but I can always tell when somebody's like reading the script. It just doesn't, it kind of like almost borderline falls into this like uncanny valley. And I felt the same way watching my own video where I try to like read the script. Another thing, another pitfall about like content, like script writing your videos, is that it's not easy to set up a studio and your camera and everything where you can read off a script. You know what I mean? Like all these people are just like, oh yeah, just like write your script and read it. But how are you gonna read the script while also making eye contact with the viewer?
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
And in order to actually do that properly, you have to invest in a teleprompter, which I do have it. On screen, I'll include what I have. I bought that and it's like over $100, and not everyone has $100 laying around to just buy in a tool that helps you read. For example, the video I keep mentioning that went semi-viral, I did script the video, but it was just the first 30 seconds, right? And what I did was, because it's so short, it's just the first 30 seconds, like the little introduction, I was able to like read the script, and then I just set it in front of the camera. And the remaining video, I had written notes of bullet points. You know, there's a chance that I ramble on like I am right now and forget important pieces. So in order to avoid that, I had like my bullet points, I had my written notes to the left of my camera, and as I'm talking to the camera, I could kind of like look back and refer back to the bullet point, and then I'll come back to the camera and talk to you guys. I feel like that video particularly did really well, especially in that series of videos where I posted like all the tips and tricks for new content creators. This video is part of that series. I feel like that video did really well because the things I was sharing were genuine, and I probably came off as a real, authentic person trying to help them out. Filming without a script helped amplify that feeling. It's not been that long since I invested in that tool, and the thing is, I'm not even using it. However you film your videos, you have to make it so easy to just like pick up the camera and start talking and filming. Before I moved across the country, just recently, we moved from Arizona to now in Philly. I had my room completely set up with all things camera. I had my cameras permanently hooked up to the battery, so I never had to worry about the battery. I had my light permanently fixed. I had like basically everything. All I had to do at the time was, once I had the video idea, all I had to do was walk into that room, turn on the camera, and start recording. I didn't have to think about it. That made it so much easier to post regularly versus like right after I moved. It's been like over a month since we moved here, and it took me that long to finally start filming this one video because it felt like such a hassle to like even get up and get everything set up. It felt kind of daunting to even like think about going back and setting everything up in this new room. Like the lighting is different, like all of that stuff. And then to think about scripting on top of everything, it's not very helpful. My new formula, the thing that I do now, is doing the research for content packaging, right? So you want to look at title and thumbnail combo that seems to work really well within your niche. And once you have that general idea of like, okay, my next video is going to be like this title, and I'm probably going to do a thumbnail that looks kind of like this, I will basically sit and write like 5 to 6 different variations of intro, just keeping the viewer in mind, right? Like when you think about it from the viewer's perspective, they've already seen my title and thumbnail. Once you're in that video, you want to let them know like, hey, like this wasn't a clickbait. I'm actually going to talk about the things that you clicked on to listen to. And that's what that first 30-second does. And so the first 30 seconds of this video, I talked about like, hey, like content, there's so much noise, you know, when it comes to like advice for content creators on YouTube. And, you know, one of those hotly debated topic is script writing. That piece it was probably not even 30 seconds. I wrote like 10 different versions of it. And that's all the writing that I did. The rest of the content, I can speak to it because I already know what I want to talk about. I already have an opinion. Once I have those things locked in, it's so much easier to just turn on the camera and start speaking. I feel like if you're so used to, from the beginning of your YouTube journey, if you are kind of like training yourself to read everything off the script, it makes it really hard to transition from that to kind of going freestyle. It's way easier if you start off by kind of freestyling it and then to go back and refine your process a little bit and start writing script. So I feel like it's backward. A lot of the advice telling people like, oh, you have to script, I think it needs to be flipped. I'm not saying script is bad. I tried that, and I bet you, if you like go back and watch my older videos, you could tell which videos I was reading off the script and which videos I was just kind of like freestyling, especially in this new era. You know, there's a lot of AI slop, and there's also like, they're getting more and more realistic. Gotten to a point where in the beginning, I could tell so easily whether something's AI or not. Nowadays, it gets me, like, it requires a little more thinking on my part, on like logic and like, hey, like, does it make sense that there's somebody like walking and it just so happens to happen? So at this point, what people are really looking for when they watch your YouTube video is the real, authentic connection, right? Like they want to make sure that they're listening to a real human being because knowledge is becoming cheap. Like information is so easy to find. All the things that I'm sharing with you guys about content creation, there's a million other content creators talking about the same things, and maybe like they're delivering it better. They have more extensive knowledge. There are like actual Hollywood editors who are like sharing editing tips on YouTube. So I'm not competing with that. The people that are watching my videos, they're watching my videos because I sound human and because they can see themselves in me and because I'm only half a step ahead of them. So the type of advice, or at least I try to, the type of advice that I share is something that's very achievable. And I think that's something that really resonated with people with a lot of my how to make videos on my channel, is that they were like, hey, like I really appreciate the simplicity. And this whole script writing is kind of like going off that same idea of like keeping content creation and video making simple while maintaining your authenticity. What better way to be your real authentic self than to just talk like you normally talk? You don't have to study your own speech pattern to write the script that actually sounds like you to then read that script and try to act natural. A lot of TV personalities have mastered that craft, right? Of like reading off the script and making it sound so natural. Saturday Night Lives and all of those shows that people love so much, there are scripts there, right? They're not just going off of vibes. So there are real values to it. But like I said, there is a real value in being authentic and being imperfect. AI can try and mimic the imperfection, but it's never gonna be human. I'm gonna explain that a little bit. There is this one piece of art that's supposed to be the most perfect piece of art that everybody likes. And it's this one. When you see this art, is that something that you would say is the best art ever in the world? Probably not. And the reason why this painting feels so like average is because the creators of this piece set out on a mission to make the most likable art in human history. And the way they went about it is they went like the research route, and they basically sent out a bunch of surveys to people and asked them like, what do you like to see in a painting? Do you like to see portraits? Do you like to see figures, still life, nature? Do you like to see trees? And they gathered all of that data, put that into a painting. This painting is a result of that effort. I feel AI trying to like mimic human content creators and like even down to like the mistakes, because you know like people like imperfections, so maybe then AI will try to gather that information and recreate the imperfection of human creators, but it's never gonna be perfectly imperfect because AI isn't human. Makes sense in my brain, but maybe it doesn't. But I thought that was a really good analogy. So yes, a little bit of planning can go a long way to help you with your growth, especially if your plan is to actually grow your channel and not just do it as a hobby. Because YouTube content creation, I know there are a lot of people who are just like, oh, it's just a hobby for me, like it makes me happy. I love that. At least for me, this is too time consuming and it takes up a lot of effort for me to just be like willy-nilly, like I don't care if my channel grows or not. I did think like that in the beginning. Right? I was just like, oh, well, I don't know, I'm gonna like just start posting and see where it goes. But then as soon as I started posting, I realized, holy shit, this is a lot of work. And so if I'm gonna put this much time and effort, if I'm doing all of that, might as well get something out of it. And if you really truly want to optimize everything, you can try to script out every word, but you also kind of have to think about like your ROI, like how much effort you put in versus like the outcome and what you get out of it. And I feel like the ROI for script writing, especially if you're a beginner, in the beginning, yeah. If you are a new content creator, just like starting to get your feet wet and like get used to making videos and you have your own vision that you're like working towards, whatever, script writing should be the last thing on your mind. Planning your title and thumbnail, absolutely. If you want to grow, you might want to start doing that early on than later. If you really want to script something, I would say script the first 30 seconds because it's that whole pipeline, right? Like you want to make sure, because people definitely judge a book by a cover or a video by the thumbnail, title and thumbnail packaging. You want to make sure that you kind of give them confirmation, because at the end of the day, your videos are free, but it's not exactly free because people are paying with their time to watch your video. You at least want to give them the confirmation like, yes, you clicked on the right video and this is exactly what I'm going to talk about in that video. If you've been wanting to start a vlogging YouTube channel and didn't know where to start, This video is for you. Spending a little more time thinking about that first 30 seconds and how you're going to communicate that with your viewer can be really helpful. The rest of the video, just keep them really simple. If you want to like at least write some notes, you can keep like bullet points or like some quick notes. But other than that, just leave them be. Just let out your thoughts naturally, because this is literally how I would be telling my sister and my mom, who are both very interested in content creation, if they came to me and asked, hey, like, do you script your video? Should I script my videos? And I'll be like, no, you really shouldn't. You can script your video once you feel confident and once you get used to talking in front of camera and once you stop sounding and acting like a robot as soon as you hit the record button, because that was me. I'll have all these thoughts and then I'll hit record and then all those thoughts will just vanish and then I'm just like blinking and staring at the camera like, hi, awkward silence. And then you feel so mortified that you just turn off your camera and you decide YouTube is probably not for me. Content creation, not for me. I feel so awkward. It's a skill that you need to learn and you don't have to add to that stress of like getting over that, like overcoming that fear by also trying to script everything you're wanting to say. But at the end of the day, this is what I want to emphasize. Like, I'm just one person. I clearly have opinion when it comes to script writing, but maybe writing the script helps you get over that camera fright, right? Like everyone's so different. And at the end of the day, what these gurus and experts tell you, you don't have to do it exactly that way. I think there are certain things that are worth listening to. How are you going to appeal to complete strangers to listen to what you have to say? So I think it's really worth it to spend some time learning marketing. When you read marketing books, you'll realize that there's a lot of parallel between traditional marketing technique and YouTube technique. There's a lot of the same kind of ideas that work in both the traditional marketing scene and in YouTube and content creation in general. So I think it's worth paying attention to those. But when it comes to like the actual methodology of like how should you actually film and do your video, like I feel like you should just listen to your gut feeling, prioritize the things that help you get started and get more productive when it comes to posting videos. If you're trying a new method that's gonna like significantly slow down your process or straight up making you not create at all, you should probably reconsider why. Once you start posting more videos, it'll become second nature, right? And once you kind of like, start building that momentum, you get used to building and like filming content, then you can start and try one new thing with every video. You don't have to do all of that all at once. Again, like if script writing is one thing, you're just like, oh, I don't know, like if I want to like write this whole thing out, like it's kind of a blocker right now, don't do it. Don't even think about the first 30 seconds. Just get focused on speaking in front of the camera. And once you kind of get better at speaking in front of camera, then you can start thinking about scripting your first 30 seconds. All right, so that's it for today. Hopefully that was really helpful. And again, please leave your thoughts in the comment below and I'll see you guys next week.